Thank you. Again, please. Thank you. Those who are against this motion, Capsi. Yeah. Those who are against, motion carried unanimously. Okay, the next point in the agenda will be the elections. We are going to start with. We have a previous motion, previous the elections. Okay, now we are going to review the report of the chairperson of the 67 IPSF World Congress, and it's in motion 51. This the 68 IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the chairperson of the reception committee of the 67th IPSF World Congress 2022. You have 3 minutes. You can start now, please.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Omar Awida, the chairperson of 67th IPSF World Congress. I'm honored to be the chairperson of this exceptional event. I'm here to present my annual report. Let me start off by saying this is an exceptional year. Nothing about the past 4 months is normal. We as EPSF Egypt have always has interest in hosting IPSF events, as we are very thrilled to be given the chance to do this year. It was very hard yet rewarding decision. Planning of the World Congress usually takes 2 years. 2 years where you get the chance to go through details of the event and have the sufficient time to fulfill its requirements. However, since we only had 4 months, we did our best to rush and condense those steps to be able to have you all here today. It's a beginning. In the beginning, we are looking for the venue to hold both accommodation as well as sessions and workshops in the same place. And also we aiming to have the World Congress in a coastal city in Egypt to have a full stay of excursion. Given the short time we had the registration of the event, we tried to stay responsive, flexible, and as possible as we can, especially since we are short in numbers, so we had extensive promotion, even provide offers to increase numbers. And on note of that, we build a strategic platforms to be handed over to the next reception committee to build on what we already started. And it goes allied with the strategic plan of IPSF. As for the educational and scientific team, we have been working hard since day one to contact doctors and the professors in Egypt and abroad to invite them to join our vision of this event and to be part of it. Thankfully, a lot of them have been compelled. I would like to thank IPSF BE chairperson, Ms. Karima, for all her hard work and standing by our side from day one. She truly worked with us as one team and helped us step by step to achieve wonderful event we have today. For LIT and BD events, we have worked on providing the best outline of them, along with BD chairpersons, BD coordinators, and the president-elect. One of the issues we faced last second is some of delegates have faced visa problems, which we were informed of a week before the event, which made it extremely hard to provide assistance. However, we have sent them a document addressing the embassy to speed up the process of visa approvals and also
30
send
seconds.
documents.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
30 seconds. To start off my final remarks, I would like to apologize for the late submission of reports. However, I am asking for you to understand what, as we have planning for the major events in such record time, we had a lot of unfinished details at last minute, and we have asked for the permission for that. I would like to thank IPSF Executive Committee for the availability, assistance, and have a and for continuous meetings, and also event manager for every assistance we needed during the event. Lastly, I would like to thank the reception committee and the organizing team for their hard working and dedication. This last 4 months,
Yeah.
we have gone
Sorry,
through a lot of
sorry,
sleepless.
time's over. 3 minutes over. Thank you for your presentation. Now the floor is open for discussion. See the first new comment from ALPSA Lebanon.
Maria on CLPSA Lebanon. Thank you so much for your speech and congratulations on these preparations. So LPSA question is regarding the delegates that didn't receive their visas. Will they get reimbursed? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Omar, please.
According to the cancellation policy of IPSF World Congress, and they as they signed it before registration, if they informed us by visa cancellation or visa rejection before the event, before 10th of July, it will be reimbursed. 25% will be reimbursed after 10 of 10th of July. No reimbursement will be happen according to the cancellation policy.
Thank you for the answer. Next we have on the list BPHD Germany.
VBPHD Germany. So first of all, before we begin, we would like to express our deepest thanks to you and all the team. It's not easy at all to organize a World Congress with so many participants in just 4 months. So despite all the questions that are getting raised, we have the deepest respect for you guys. So thank you very much for that. So our question would be about the venue. Just out of interest, what was the reason for choosing this specific venue over any other venue from all the 500 hotels and resorts existing in Hurghada? Because especially those who would provide Wi-Fi in the rooms included in the price would be for us more beneficial. So we would like to have an explanation for that. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Omar, please.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for your questions and thanks for your comments. Regarding this venue, when we applied for the World Congress in the bidding, we was proposing another venue in Sahel Hashish. It's called Biramiza Sahel Hashish, but due to changes in dates, we faced a lot of challenges to find another venue. But regarding the Wi-Fi policy in the most of hotels in Hurghada, they provide the same policy as free Wi-Fi in the lobby and extra charge Wi-Fi in the room. But regarding the General Assembly, we try to give an extra Wi-Fi with the 3 modems, 3 routers with maximum capacity of download and upload for the GE, for ODs and live streams and GE technicals.
Thank you, Omar, for the answer. Next we have Anep
Hey,
France.
hello everyone. Is my voice
Dropped.
audible? Apologies for the delay. Hello, is my
Next.
voice audible? Apologies.
I'm sorry, but you're in the middle of the report. So could you mute
Okay, give me
yourself?
a second. Hold on.
Thank you. Next we have on the list ALPSA Lebanon.
Maria on CLPSA Lebanon. So the registration fees for the World Congress are a little bit expensive for university students. So what advice can you give to your successor in order to lower those fees in the future? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Omar, please.
Yes, according to the official documents of IPSF, according to IPSF official documents, they stated that you have to open registration for the first phase by 55 euros per night. And also, if you check the registration and check the accommodation or reservation fees in this hotel, you will find it a little bit higher than the registration fees. But for the upcoming reception committees, I advise them to work early for the sponsorship to to reduce the registration fees as much as they can, but in this situation we can't risk on this as we have only 4 months to work on the sponsorship, and it was a short notice for all sponsors, and so we didn't risk to reduce the sponsorship to reduce the registration fees. So all the advice for the next reception committee to work early for the sponsorship.
Thank you for the answer. Next, we have BPHD.
Test. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Verena, BPHD Germany. Again, thank you for your hard work. During this World Congress, we all experienced a lot of delays during the GA and also during the workshops and the symposium. In retrospect, how would you organize or do things differently in order to prevent the schedule to be delayed for such a long time? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Omar, please.
Thank you, Jeremy, for your question. Regarding the delays in the schedule, it's some of it by the lack of harmony between the organizers, as we had a short time to prepare them to organize the World Congress, and also it's the first World Congress after 2 years of lockdown. So some of unexpected stuff were faced us during this workshops or GE sessions, but we try to be agile and move forward to learn from this delay and improve in the next days.
Thank you for the answer. Next, we have IPSA Lebanon. Dropped. Next, we have BPHD Germany.
Test. VBPhD Germany. We would like to ask on the very last thing that you mentioned about the funding. So you said that you were going to sort out an online program for funding every fund that hasn't been received until this time. So our question would be, could you elaborate on that? So how would it work, the online program in January? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Omar, please.
As the question is about funding we received.
Can I have clarification by BPHD?
VBPH Germany. So for clarification, you stated on your last point about the funding that you were going to organize an online program for pharmacy students in January to get the funds for this World Congress. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Omar, please.
Yes, since we had a short time to organize this World Congress, and the possibility of getting sponsorship in this short time, it may be hard. So we recommended and we plan to have a funding have an online event as a funding for the World Congress, as we here in IPSF held an online event and attended by more than 5,000 participants. And it makes as a funding for the World Congress. But also during this hard time of preparations, we postponed it to the next year, starters of January. Next year.
Thank you for the answer. Seeing no new comments. I close the floor for discussion and move to voting procedure. I would like to start asking those member organizations that are for accepting the report. Please raise your voting cards. Thank you. Those who are against accepting the report. Right. Hi. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Those abstaining. The report has been accepted. Congratulations. Motion 52. This D68 IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the report of the chairperson of the reception committee of the 68 IPSF World Congress 2023. Do we have motivation? Clarification by KNPSB? Can I have a mic, please? Scrutineers, please, a mic. A mic to KNPSB.
Hello,
Hi, KPC
apologies.
Yanis. I was just wondering when we are going to discuss the strategic plan, since it was scheduled earlier on the agenda than all the points that we're doing now. Thank you.
IPSF Exco.
Uh, Thank you, Daniel. Okay. This is a message from the Secretary General. Apparently, we have missed that motion. It was supposed to be after the team coordinators. Apologies, but we will do it immediately after the report of the 68th World Congress, and that will be the last motion before elections. Thank you.
Thank you, Kishan. Okay, IPSF Exco. Okay, Raya, can you listen to us? Raya, can you listen to us?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I can hear you guys.
Raya, you can speak, please. Can you give
Is
us
my voice
confirmation?
audible over on that side? Yes.
She's
Yes.
Yes. So, hi everybody.
We have a technical with the sound. We are going to wait.
Excuse me, is my voice audible? Hello? Hello, is my voice audible? Hello, hello.
Sorry, Raya. We are having a technical that we cannot.
Raya, can you hear us? Someone?
Yes, I can hear you guys from my side.
Okay, thank you so much. Could you please start with your presentation? You have 3 minutes.
All right, could I have permission for one of my teammates to share screen for our presentation? That would be from Agnes.
Can we please give Agnes rights to share screen?
All right, so good afternoon. So we'll get started on this presentation tonight. So good afternoon, good morning, noon, afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the presentation for the 68 IPSF World Congress Reception Committee. My name is Raya, and I'll be the Secretary General for the World Congress later for 2023. So we can go to the next slide straight away. All right, so for the overall, we're just going to be talking about the things listed here, and we'll be going on to the next slide. So for overall our organizational structure, this is our organizational structure. You guys can take a look at it within our PDF itself. So this is the overall structure. We have our CHP and our vice chairperson, which are unable to attend, but I'll be presenting for them today and be representing all of World Congress. And this is the rest of our committees. Next slide. So here are the event dates and timeline itself. So we do have a bit of a change, a recent change towards our dates itself. So for Leaders in Training or LIT, it is set to be from the 1st of August until the 3rd of August, and then we'll start World Congress from the 4th until the 14th, and then post Congress tour will be followed then right after from the 14th until the 18th. So these for the durations itself, they're the same, but for the dates, they have adjusted quite a bit. Next. So this is the overall timeline. We can go next. And then we have our themes and symposium topics. Go next. So for the overall theme, it is envision the evolution of life's quality as forthcoming pharmacists. And here are some of the learning objectives we aim to have for World Congress later on. Next slide. And then for the competitions, we have them listed here from poster, PCE, ISE, CSE, and as well our health hackathon. Next slide. And then for our symposium topics, first we have redefining beauty through Indonesian Asian wisdom, and as well how to improve health and well-being for Gen Z. Next slide.
1 minute more.
All right, so these are the topics themselves. I think we can just scroll past them. So you guys can take a look at it in the PDF itself. And then these are some of our workshop topics and subtopics, as you guys can look here. Next slide, and as well the days itself. So next slide.
30 seconds.
And then we have our all right, and then we have our registration and budgeting. So we can just go to the next slide for these ones, and you can take a look at them as well. And these are some of the planned date ranges, which are listed here below. So we can just scroll past these. And then we can
Okay.
scroll past it again, I believe. Oh, is it time up already?
Yeah, time's up. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Oh,
We have a procedural motion by BPSA.
Daniel, BPSA UK, can we let them finish their PowerPoint, please?
Yeah, can I have a seconder, please? Seconded by ASEP Algeria. Yeah. Point of information by ASEP Switzerland. Clarification.
Valentine ASEP Switzerland question to the EXCO. Is it even allowed to show information that hasn't been handed in with the bid? Thank you.
IPSF EXCO.
This is not a bid. They have already won the bid to host the World Congress in the previous. Yes, so this is more of like a progress report that they're presenting. They're already the host. Thank you.
How? Okay, until the end of the presentation, right? Okay, seconded by ASEP Algeria. New comments? I close the floor for discussion. Those who are against? Motions carry unanimously. We are going to allow to present the report until the end. Raya, you can continue until the end of
all
the
right.
presentation,
Thank you.
please.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So now we're going to be continuing on. And as well, thank you for the full members who have allowed us to finish our presentation as well. So now we're going to be continuing towards the venue and accommodation itself. So can we go next slide, please? All right, so for the venue itself, we have the Grand Hyatt Nusa Bali, but we do have to say that this is still in talks because this has adjusted our budget planning quite a bit. So this is still our primary plan, but if we are able to find a cheaper alternative, then we will be using those alternatives itself. But for right now, we are going to be using the Grand Hyatt. So next slide. All right, so all right, and then for transportation itself, we do have, we will primarily be using buses because we are going to be transporting from the university and from the hotels itself uh, from majority of the time. Next slide. Apologies, I think the presentation is a bit of a lag, so it may there may be some pauses. So as well, we do have some health protocols in place because COVID, despite it going down, we still want to do our precautions. So as usual, we'd have social distancing, cleaning and sanitation, and all the things listed down there. And we will be abiding by the hotel protocols as well as needed. Next slide. All right, and next we have the leaders in training plan. Next slide. So for LIT itself, we have two locations which are possible, which is the Golden Tulip Hotel and Harris Hotel. Next slide. And for the tentative dates itself, we will be having it. So this has been adjusted as well to be moved back a bit for a few days. So we will be having it at the end of June and right before World Congress begins. But this is the duration of each of these sessions itself. So for pre-LIT, it will be around 1 to 2 days, and then LIT internship will be around a month or so. And then for LIT sessions, it will be around 3 days. And the fee is listed below. Next slide. Next, we have our social events and nights. We can just continue scrolling. So for the overall arrangement, just to keep the presentation a bit short, you guys can read this on the PDF that's been sent. But overall, we have listed from day 0 to day 1 and ongoing to the other social nights itself and social evenings. All right, and next we have our public health campaign. Next slide. All right, so for our public health campaign, as description here, we do plan on doing campaigns such as creating infographics and online challenges, webinars, and IG takeovers as our pre-event to kind of warm up the public health campaign itself. And for the main event, we will be having an offline campaign within the Bali community, mainly aiming towards the various locations such as the beaches and as well near more crowded places within Bali. Next slide. And for the PHC topic itself, it is on the importance of dietary lifestyle and our nutrition intake. So this is just really focusing on the importance of our lifestyle. Next slide. And for the timeline, it is listed here below, as you guys can see, and we can just scroll right through. And next we have our post-Congress tour. Next slide. So for the PCT highlights, we do plan on having some packages. So for the primary packages is that first we have the 4 days and 4 days and 3 nights packages, which where the locations are listed down below. And for the next slide, please. Next slide, Miss. All right, and next we have some other locations for the PCT itself, which is highlighted below. Next slide. And for the schedule, it is located right here. So this is supposed to be set on the 18th of August until the 20th. So it'll be 4 days as well for PCT. Next slide. All right, and next we have our visa and COVID-19 regulations, which are set within Indonesia. So next slide. So for the visa regulations itself within Indonesia in general, this is a visa on demand type of situation. So for any in exception for ASEAN members, then these members do not need any sort of visa. But for any other countries that are outside of the ASEAN region, then they will require a visa on arrival. Apologies, and this will be located right when you go off your plane, and you can go to the immigration office right there. And here. You guys can as well see the prices, which is 500,000 rupiah. And as well, it is relevant that everyone has been vaccinated. And next slide. Yeah, so it's a requirement that everyone has been vaccinated, and there's some requirements where the members who are going to be coming to World Congress offline need to download an application called Peduli Lindungi, which is available on the Google Play Store as well as the App Store and App Gallery, and as well make sure that their vaccines has been registered on the website, which is listed below. And as well, upon arrival, if there's a situation where someone has been tested positive, then in situations like this, then they may be required to be directed towards a hotel that is set by the government itself. So more information about the COVID-19 regulations can be seen in the website below. Next slide. And as well, if there's any sort of need for context between us and from the IPSF members as well to us overall Congress, then you guys can take a look within our contact numbers below as well our email. And that has been our presentation for right now. And thank you for listening. And apologies if there's any errors or anything that was missing throughout the presentation. So we are open to any and all questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Raya, for your presentation. Now the floor is open for discussion. Seeing no new comments, I close the floor for discussion. Oh, yeah. Okay. Accept Algeria.
Test, test. So I've got Algeria. First of all, thank you for your continued work for the next IPSF World Congress. I would like to know if you have any backup plan in case you need to change the venue at the very last minute. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Raya, could you please answer?
Yes, I'm able to answer. Is my voice audible? Apologies. Apologies. Is my voice audible now?
Asepa, could you please repeat the question?
All right. So I think
So I've got Algeria. First of all, thank you for your continued work for your continued work for the next IPSF World Congress. My question is, do you have any backup plan in case you need to change the venue at the very last moment? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Raya, could you please answer?
yes, I'll answer that question. So thank you as well for the question. So in terms of our venues, we do have backups in case we do have to change our venue last minute. So we do have some hotels listed, which is ICC, BICC, Riverside, The Trans, Harris Hotel, Aston, and many other hotels we have listed as well. So we do have backups.
Thank you for the answer. Next, we have on the list KNPSB, the Netherlands.
Anna, KPSV the Netherlands. So we assume it is a mistake, but we see that the World Congress cost us 54 euros. Is this right, or should it be 540 euros?
Thank you for the question. Raya, could you please answer?
For 54 euros, is that which section did you say that was a part of? Apologies. Could you clarify?
It's in the planned registration cost.
Raya, do you understand the question?
Okay, so you are asking about the registration charges, right? Is that correct? Sorry, apologies. Oh
Yes.
yeah, so it is a mistake on our side. Apologies on that. So it should have been 540. So yeah, so that's an error on our part. Apologies for that.
Thank you for the answer. Next we have a clarification. PEF Portugal.
Denise, APF Portugal. We would like to clarify because in the financial report that's attached in the PowerPoint, it is also the same price, but it is per day. So how many nights will it be? Just to be sure that the math is okay. Thank you.
Thank you, APF. Raya, did you get the question?
So yes, I got the question. So thank you. For us, we had decided it was 10 days for the World Congress itself.
Thank you for the answer. Next, we have APHASB.
Maria, APHAASP. Thank you for your presentation and your report. So my question is regarding your planned registration date ranges. So it looks like your early phase registration is beginning in January through early February. Can you expand on why the early registration is so early? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Raya, are you okay with the question?
Yes, I got the question. So that was before we had talked. That is before we had actually rethought about the registration plan. So after some discussion as well, we decided we want to move it a bit farther into February. But that was after we had submitted our report. So we do plan on at least doing it within February or in March. But the reason beforehand why we decided to do it in January was so we could give it a bit more time for registration for registration of early delegates. But other than that, we do plan on moving it, so that's a mistake on our part as well because we did rethink about that registration dates again. But thank you for the question.
Thank you for the answer. Next, we have IPSF Egypt.
The EPS of Egypt. First of all, good luck with your presentation. I hope it works well. The first question, do you have any potential sponsor or partner during the World Congress?
Thank you for the question. Raya, did you get the question?
So was that about potential sponsors, if I'm not wrong?
Could you please clarify? Yes.
Or did I miss it? Yeah, maybe clarify it again. Okay. So
Could you?
for potential sponsors, yes, we do have some potential sponsors. So those being from the tourism sector of our government, because this is such a big event, we do want to try to get their attention and have them as a sponsor. But not only this, we do try to aim for a lot of local companies within our country, which is some of them being Paragon Innovation, as well as some other pharmacy-focused types of sponsors, such as Biopharma, which is our government-based pharmaceutical company, and as well some other pharmaceutical companies for right now.
Thank you for the answer. Next, we have PPSA. Can we have another mic, please?
Daniel, BPSA UK. Thank you very much for your presentation. You mentioned that you've changed the dates from what they're listed as on the presentation. Are these new dates the finalized dates? And when would you recommend that attendees book their flight tickets or transport so we can get them for the best price, but not risk the dates changing and having the flights booked for the wrong dates? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Raya, are you okay with the question?
Yep, fully understood the question. Thank you as well. Thank you as well for the question itself. So for the finalized dates, yes, they have been fixed, and for the best types of prices, high point season, so those being like summer seasons and such like that. So possibly 2 to 3 months at least before it's May, June, July would be the best time to get your tickets. And because and if there's a possibility of changing dates, it would be very likely that they would be minor changes. So at least 2 to 3 days of a change. But other than that, we would recommend at least 2 to 3 months before you come over to Indonesia is when we recommend you guys buy your flights.
Thank you for the answer. Next, we have CAPSI Canada. Dropped. Next, APEF Portugal.
Denise, APF Portugal. We would like to ask. I don't know if we missed this part, but what is the reason for the change in price, seeing as in the bid the price for the first phase was 480 and 540 is a big difference. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Are you okay with the question, Raya?
Yes, totally fine with question. So the reason why we did such a big difference was because for the early phases, we do want to try to attract at least as many of the official delegates as possible, which is why we try to lower the prices as our possible means. But because for the second round of registrations, we do want to attract a lot more of the regular delegates itself, and we do still have to cover quite a bit of our budget itself and calculating the cost that goes into Bali because there's a current transition of it going from the COVID situation to normal situation. Prices have gone up, which is why we do want to still give the best prices for at least official delegates to come over and represent their associations, but as well, we're trying to cover our costs within the Bali situation right now. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you for the answer. Next, we have ASEP Algeria.
Saib Karatas of Algeria. First of all, thank you for your previous answer. So I wanted to ask you what are the main payment methods that you will be applying for this World Congress, and did you or did you not think about the payment upon arrival option? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Are you okay with the question, Raya?
Yes, I'm fully fine with the question. So previously, before PayPal had been blocked from Indonesia, we did want to do main payment methods of PayPal. But because of the current situation that's going on in Indonesia and the complexity of PayPal that's going on right now, we do primarily focus on wire transferring right now. But if there's any other sorts of digital transfer that we're able to do, then we will let you guys know in the end. But as of right now, for international payments, we focus on wire transfer.
Thank you for the answer. Next, we have IPSA Lebanon. Clarification by ASEPA.
So I've got as for Algeria. I would like to know if the payment upon arrival option was thought about or not, since I did not hear a concrete answer in your first answer. Thank you.
Raya, is the question okay?
Yep, that's fine. Apologies for not answering the previous question. So payment on arrival was not talked about yet, but we can put that into consideration. Thank you for the suggestion.
Thank you. Next, we have IPSA Lebanon.
Maria Onsi, LPSA Lebanon. Thank you for your presentation. LPSA would like to know if by the incoming and the collaborations with sponsors, as we have seen that the fees of the first phase is 540 alone. So by the incoming and the collaborations with sponsors, will that be decrease further? There will be a further decrease in the price? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Raya, are you okay with the question?
Yes, I'm totally fine with the question. So in regards to the possible lowering of budgets with the help of sponsors, that is still a possibility with us. So with the changes in prices, this may change according to if the sponsors are willing to collaborate or even help with our budgeting later on. Hope that answers your question.
Thank you for the answer. Waiting for new comments. I close the floor for discussion. No new comments. Now we are going to move to voting procedure on the report. Thank you so much, Raya, for the presentation. We are going to move to voting procedure. I would like to ask those member organizations that are against the report, those abstaining. We have one abstention. No? No. Okay. Motion carried unanimously. Can we have next motion? Motion 53. DSD 68 IPSF General Assembly accepts and adopts the 2021-2022 progress report of the IPSF Strategic Plan 2020-2023. Do we have motivation? Okay. Ryan, could you please start the motivation?
Yes, thank you so much. So basically, as you already know, IPSF has a 3-year strategic plan, and each time, like we assess the progress and with different KPIs for different portfolios, where do we stand, what have we achieved, and to adjust our vision and also to adjust our efforts towards what we want to achieve at the end of these 3 years. The way we have made this progress report is by sharing this document with the different executive committee members. We discuss the points that are that concern more than one portfolio, and when it is portfolio related, we had the executive committee member responsible for that portfolio fill that particular KPI and report on the progress they have made during the mandate. This is a general idea of how this document was made, and this is, as you know, the second year. And I already attached last year progress report for your information, our dearest CPs and ODs. This is again just a summary and the general idea of what is the strategic plan report and what does it stand for and what is it used for. We remain at your disposal as executive committee member to answer your questions regarding any point you want us to clarify on or like to add more information about that. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan, for the presentation. Now the floor is open for discussion. Please register yourself in the system. We have KNPSB the Netherlands.
Franka, KNPSV Netherlands. This is more a general question. For next year, would it be possible to put all the outcomes of the 3 year next to each other so it's easier to see the progresses for us? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Ryan, please.
So yeah, if I may jump in, definitely this was should be done at the end of the 3 years. In order, we will just do the same what we have done this year. So we will have a spreadsheet for the progress of that year to be more precise, and we will have a general report of the whole strategic plan, like the progress during the 3 years to measure where we are at, and of course we will also use that report to be able to draft the next strategic plan for the next 3 years, which will be adopted and discussed with the CPs and the GA, the next GA. Yeah, I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you for the answer. Waiting for new comments. We have another comment by KNPSB.
Thank you. Franka, KNPSV Netherlands. I have a question about point 2.2.1. Oh, we're not having it on screen. Okay, it's about the budget for the regional offices, and I think from there stated that the budget maintained 2,000 euros per region, and my question is why it is maintained 2,000 euros per region and didn't increase. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Ryan, please.
I would say that the question is directed to the treasurer, so the floor is yours.
Kishan, please.
Kishan, IPSF Treasurer, thank you for your question. So I just want to clarify, you're asking why is it still maintained 2,000 per region? Am I right? 2,000 euros per region?
Frankrijk en PCV the Netherlands. Whoa. Yeah, like the plan is to increase, where is it? Increase the annual budget of the original offices, but it maintained the same.
Okay, thank you. It was increased from the previous year. So the previous budget gave each regional offices a budget of 1,600 euros. But then at the last GA, that was to have the budget approved for this year, they have increased it to 2,000. And so my point in that report was to tell the General Assembly that yes, it was raised to currently 2,000, and we're assessing whether or not that 2,000 needs to be raised even further. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for the answer. Waiting for new comments. Seeing no new comments, I close the floor for discussion and move to voting procedure. I would like to ask those member organization against the report. None. Abstentions. Motion carried unanimously. Point of order by IPSF Exco.
Okay, hi everyone. So we are done with most motions, and now we're supposed to go into the first election of the GA. But we do have a scheduled break at 4 p.m. It's currently 3:40 at the moment. I just want to assess the floor whether or not you would like to continue with the elections for now and break after the first set of elections, or do you want to go for your break now and then we'll come back after the break. But just for everyone's information, we are going to do the elections this way. So the first three elections is the president-elect, and the secretary general. Each position has one candidate. We'll open the floor for open discussions for each candidate first. Before that, we'll be playing the videos that the nominees have submitted, okay, and automatically, and then we'll open the floor for discussion. Once that is done, we'll move on to the next position, and again to the next position. Once we're done with Secretary General, we'll proceed to close discussion for all three positions, just like what we have done for the member organizations motions. Does everyone understand that, first of all? Can I have a green if you understand? So can I just assess the floor? Would you like to go for a break now and come back in? Can I just say 15 minutes because we want to, yeah. Can I come back in 15 minutes? I see majority green, so can we?
Thank
Okay,
you,
thank you.
Gishan. Now, to go to the break, may I have a proposal to suspend the standing order proposed by KNPSB the Netherlands, seconded by IPSF Egypt. Those against the motion? Motion carried unanimously. Now we are going to perform